We've had in the last 2 months, 3 power outages.
Yeah, we've had a few too, and we have a scheduled one tomorrow from like
Yeah.
7 until noon.
Yeah, so
I'm
we,
like, better not go longer than that. How long is your fish supposed to stay good for, right?
Yeah. All right, we are our live committee. Thanks very much for attending. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The last few meetings, we've appointed a temporary chair, and I think it's appropriate that we appoint a chair, hopefully for the remainder of the term. So what I will do at this point is ask if there are any nominations for chair.
I'd like to nominate Rebecca.
Okay, thank you. You second that? Thank you, James. All in favor? Okay, that's carried.
Do I vote for myself?
Yeah.
I'm happy to accept the nomination. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca. I'll turn it over to Chair Rebecca.
Okay, well, thanks so much. This is great news. I guess this is where I start with my long-winded spiel. I have one with me. See, good to see they're keeping me extra organized here. So to begin with, they're just going to go through the procedure for these meetings. So the applications before the Committee of Adjustment are assessed by the 4 tests to be met in granting a minor variance as set out under Section 45 of the Planning Act. The committee may grant an application if it is satisfied that the application or sought relief, number 1, is minor. Number 2 is desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land, building, or structure. Number 3 maintains the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. And number 4 maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan. Committee members individually review each application. We individually undertake site visits and individually form an opinion. Committee members assemble at this meeting to render our decision. Staff will review any comments received on the application and will also provide the planner's assessment of the application. The applicant or their agent are then asked if they would identify themselves and would like to speak on the application. Anyone from the public who requested attendance will be given opportunity to speak on the application after identifying themselves by providing their name and street address for the record. Committee members may then ask questions, make statements of opinion, followed by their decision, which is voted on by committee members. Members of the public watching on YouTube, hi everybody, who may wish to make any comments are asked to email planning@ektwp.ca so the comments can be relayed to the committee. You must again provide your name and street address in your emailed comments for the public records. The decision of the committee may be to either grant the application as presented, grant the application with modifications or conditions if the committee feels the application can be improved, or to reject the application. A verbal decision will be made at this meeting unless there is a reason to defer. If a verbal decision is made at this meeting, a written decision will follow within 10 days. To receive a copy of the decision, you must make a written request for such to the Secretary Treasurer to the Committee of Adjustment. An email request for a written copy of this decision will suffice. If the application is granted, there is a 20-day appeal period from the date of the decision where an application can be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal. So with that said, the next step on our agenda is to look for adoption of the Committee of Adjustment meeting agenda. Can I have someone move for that? Let's see, 1 second. All in favor? So that's passed. Next is our opportunity to disclose any pecuniary interests or general nature thereof from members of the committee. I'll go around the room. James? No. Brian? No? None from me either. So that's good. And yeah, I was gonna say on my screen, and then I looked at the screen and not at the camera again. Sorry, Holly, I'm gonna be looking at the screen, not at you. I'll try harder. And then next on the agenda is to adopt the Committee of Adjustment meeting minutes from the last meeting, which was on September 25th, 2025. Were circulated in advance. Anyone, any comments or feedback on that from anyone who was at the meeting? So that looks good. Can I have a motion to approve? Okay, second, everyone in favor of adopting the meeting minutes? Great. This is amazing. We're moving along really well here. Thanks, everybody. So that's going to move us on to consider our next application, which is application A1125. So the application details will be read by myself as put in the agenda. And so that is, so application A1125. So this location is part of 708 Kitley Line 3. The subject lands are zoned rural, RU. The applicant is seeking relief from zoning bylaw 1321 as amended to permit the construction of a detached garage. The purpose of the application is to specifically obtain relief from section 3.1.7 accessory uses of zoning bylaw 1321 as follows. Whereas section 3.1.7 accessory uses permits a reduced minimum side yard requirement of 3 meters on a lot zoned rural RU and having a lot area of less of 0.8 hectares or less, and whereas the applicant proposes a side yard of 1.15 meters for a detached garage in the RU zone on a lot having had a lot area of 0.8 hectares or less. So Jim Hutton, our planner, will now be called on to review any written comments and to provide the planning assessment. Thanks in advance, Jim.
Thank you very much, Chair, members of the committee. In terms of background for the application, the subject property is 0.63 hectares in area, and that is 1.5 acres. And it's occupied by an existing single detached dwelling and several accessory structures. The applicant wishes to construct a detached garage on the property, and it proposes a side yard of 1.15 meters, as mentioned by the chair. The normally required separation distance or setback is 3 meters. Proposed garage measures 8.5 meters by 12.2 meters or 28 feet by 40 feet. The applicant has indicated there's an apple tree on the property and wishes to save the apple tree by moving the proposed garage closer to the lot line than normally required by the zoning bylaw. And there is a very good, I'll call it a sketch, it's an air photo with the application on page 17, which shows the location of the apple tree and the proposed detached garage. The property is located along Kitley Line 3 in an area that has a number of residential lots on both sides. In terms of planning policy, the provincial planning statement 2024, we consider these lands as rural lands, and a variety of uses are considered appropriate on rural lands, including residential development that is locally appropriate. Staff have reviewed the applicable policies of the PPS and consider that the proposal is consistent with the policies of the PPS. The county's official plan designates the property rural lands. And on rural lands, the similar type of uses are permitted as to the provincial policy statement, including limited residential development. Staff have reviewed the policies of the county's official plan and consider that the proposal conforms with the applicable policies of the official plan. The township's official plan designates the property as rural on Schedule A2 land use and roads. To the township's official plan, the rural designation also permits limited residential uses in the rural area. Staff consider that the proposal is consistent with the applicable policies of our official plan. In terms of our zoning bylaw, the land is zoned rural or RU on Schedule A3 to bylaw 1321. The RU zone permits a single dwelling and accessory structures, including detached garages, for a lot with less than 0.8 hectares, which this lot is. Section 3.17 permits a reduced yard of 3 meters rather than the normally required 6 meters in the RU zone, and the proposed variance would reduce the required yard to 1.15 meters. Now, as committee knows, it needs to be evaluated in terms of the 4 tests for a minor variance. In terms of desirable development, the use of the property for limited residential development is desirable, and detached garages are a common accessory use for a detached dwelling. Another aspect of desirability is that the proposed variance should not set a precedence. In this case, there are site-specific circumstances, the location of the apple tree, that the applicant feels impacted the desired location of the proposed garage, and the setting of an undesirable precedent is not a concern. In terms of the intent and purpose of the OP, the policies of the rural designation permit residential development and to anticipate the normal accessory uses will be accommodated in the township zoning bylaw, and under these circumstances, the requested minor variance could be considered to meet the intent and purpose of the official plan. In terms of the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as mentioned above, the RU zone normally requires a minimum interior side yard setback of 6 meters and allows for a reduced interior side yard of 3 meters for lots under 0.8 hectares. The intent of the minimum side yard is to ensure that buildings do not encroach on neighboring properties, that drainage and snow from structures is accommodated on the same lot as the structure, and that there is sufficient area on the same property to allow for maintenance of structures. With the requested variance of 1.15 meters, there should be sufficient distance from the property line for drainage and maintenance of the structure. Therefore, the requested variance could also be considered to maintain the intent and purpose of the official plan. And the final test is the variance minor in nature. Each variance must be assessed on its own merits in this respect, as there's no mathematical formula. In this situation, as the proposed variance could be considered desirable, within the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, it could also be considered to be minor in nature. In terms of others consulted or circulation, I know the agenda said that there were no comments, but we have received comments from the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, a letter dated October 21st, 25, indicating no concerns. And we also received an email from our fire chief indicating that he had no concerns with the proposal. We've received no other comments, Chair and Committee, and I will turn it back to the Chair.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Jim. I will now call on the applicant or their agent to comment. I think we have someone here. Hi.
Yes, my name is Barry Thompson. My wife and I have lived at Kitley line 708, Kitley line 3 for 33 years. This plan has been in effect for about 10 years, and I would say 3 next door neighbors. We're grateful that it sounds like there's an approval to this. The garage is to remove a couple of the portable sheds that are on our property and make the property look better. It's also part of a sunroom design, as my wife is suffering from cancer, so we're just trying to get a few of her wishes done at this point in time so that the next year's worth of treatment will be a little bit better for her.
Thank you. I'll give the committee an opportunity to ask questions in a moment, but I wanted to check if there was any members of the public who requested to be present online or in person.
No, nothing received.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go around to chat with the committee members to see what our opinions and thoughts are. And this is an opportunity for committee members to state any initial comments and or ask any questions to Mr. Thompson. Okay.
Sure.
So maybe we'll start with James. Just because I looked to my left first instead of looking up, I didn't see Holly, so I saw James.
What kind of apple tree?
It's a Macintosh apple. I believe we have 3 on the property. The one that this one is actually one that only bought the house 33 years ago. My grandparents came and planted, so it's 33 years old and is really sort of the centerpiece of our backyard. As you know, with Kitley Line 3 property, to be able to grow any trees on, what we have is really, impressive other than scrub brush. So it's the only tree we have in the backyard. So that's why we're trying hard to keep that.
Nice. I as far as I can see, it seems to meet all 4 tests, and I don't have any other further questions or comments to make.
Okay, maybe we'll chat with Holly online next, just to put her on the hot seat. Holly, do you have any thoughts, comments, or questions?
Not really. I'm in favor of the apple tree, and I think that the application meets all 4 tests.
Thanks, Holly. Maybe Brian, we'll go to you next.
No issues at all.
Thank you. And Linda?
I have none either.
I don't have any questions either. I was going to ask if there was any if you were going to replace any of the existing sheds with the current one, but you've already answered that.
Yes, both of them is ideally what the plan is. To the 2 portable sheds will be gone, and there'll just be this one.
That's excellent. And when I visited the area, I noticed the sort of tree barrier along the side kind of makes it a non-issue for the neighboring property. So I didn't have any concerns from that point of view either. So then I guess I can ask if anyone else in attendance has any final comments or questions, including if there's any email comments via the live YouTube stream that has been received.
Nothing.
Okay, so then I think we're ready to move to a vote on this. We've already stated our positions. So I'm going to go ahead and call the vote based on what we've gone through. So all in favor of passing this one in terms of giving an approval for the minor variance? We have a unanimous vote. So that's a wonderful thing. We definitely have a verbal approval that we can give here. And that would, so I'm really happy to announce that. And I hope you can give the good news to your wife soon. And that will close the hearing we have today on 11/25. Application 11/25.
So I'll do a formal decision and then I'll circulate that to you. Then there is a 20-day appeal period as well. So once the 20-day appeal period is over, then we can go ahead and issue the permit we have received. So
something you mentioned earlier that I was just thinking about as we were speaking, because the sunroom has been approved, we're still on camera. I'm just thinking that if by some miracle, somebody says they would build a sunroom, meaning a contractor,
We can split them.
I would try to go ahead and get that, so she had a place to appeal, so just if that's the case. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody and thank you for your guidance and help.
Thank you
Shall I
for,
stay any longer?
You're welcome to leave if you'd like.
Thanks, everybody.
oh, you're trapped until the very end. Have a good rest of the night. So at this point, I will check to see if we have any other business to discuss. Anything, Holly, anything else you wanted to flag?
No, there isn't.
Okay, so the next committee of adjustment meeting is scheduled for Thursday, November 27th, 2025 at 4 p.m. and Sarah will let us know in advance what we have to discuss there. So I guess the public question period. Thanks, guys. That's great that there's no questions, but one day I'm gonna have a burning list. We'll see. So I'm gonna move to adjourn the meeting. Thank you so much for everyone's time today. Everyone in favor? Everyone in favor? We're good. So we're adjourned. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, committee. Thanks, all.
Hi, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.